Let's in fact listen into what the management had to say, and then we'll come back to Prakash for his views.
Well, we think India can possibly double from where it is today. We have about a 10,000 crore business in India. We believe that that business has the potential to double in 5 years. And I think obviously it'll be augmented with an organic play, but also organic consumption, if I was to say that. But, you know, let's look at the demographic factors for India. We have so a couple of things have been enabled in the Indian context. The first is just the birth of insurance through Ayushman Bharat and several other schemes. And this creates affordability for a lot of procedures that used to sit outside of several families. So I think from a government side, this has been a very big boost. The second is just the deepening of hospitals. If you were to travel in the interiors of India about 5 or 7 years back, and you were to do the same trip today, you'd suddenly see a lot of hospitals, lots of clinics, lots of chemist stores coming up in these cities. And I think that's, you know, people don't need to travel necessarily to metros or tier 1 towns now to get treatment. They can hope to get it in the tier 2 towns and the tier 3 towns. So we see these as huge enablers of growth in this part of the country. So I think it's going to, for us, India is likely to be a market that doubles hopefully in 5 years, aided inorganically as well. And that's the opportunity for us. So we're 45% of the sale. We're hoping to keep the same percentage constant going forward as India begins to leap as much as some of the other markets that we are focused on.
Right. Umang, let me then talk to you about what's happening as far as the US market is concerned. And there are a fair number of headwinds that companies in the pharmaceutical space are dealing with when it comes to the US market. But let's start by talking about the opportunities and what the pipeline looks like in terms of launches and what that could potentially mean in terms of the size of your US business. Currently about, what, 150 plus million. Where do you anticipate that going in light of the launches that you expect over the next few years?
Our US business is about 500 million, and we are hoping that that business also could benefit significantly out of launches that are coming. We think that the launches of products that we've been public about in the asthma and the COPD space are significant opportunities for us and for our size in the US. We also look at the peptide trajectory of products that we've been able to partner, develop on our own, which is also very significant. Each of these products could be very, very meaningful, almost to the extent of 10–15% and upwards of our current base. So as we see a range of products which are there, I think this business could significantly increase from the current levels to the levels that we think in 5 years. We think even this business has the potential of doubling in size in the next 5 years or so.
But how challenging is the pricing environment? You know, your peers that I was speaking to said that, look, pricing pressure is the reality that you have to live with. You cannot ignore it. And it's only expected to perhaps worsen given the administration's sort of very determined focus on ensuring that prices come down, which may not necessarily impact Indian pharma as much. But what's the pricing environment looking like at this point in time, and how much of a risk is that potentially going to be?
So the pricing environment in the US historically, if you were to go rewind back about 15 years, has always been the 0 to 5, 0 to 10% type of price erosion that happens every year. The market deflates. And I think what happens is the only way to offset that is through new product launches. I think it works for us a little differently than the others, Shereen, and the reason for that is that our business is a relatively lesser size. So if the business becomes a larger size, your innovation engine has to work that much harder to be able to get the same benefit in your top line to avoid what you're deflating through pricing. So I think we don't have the same problem over the next 3 to 4 years. We, of course, have to erode pricing every year because of the nature of the market, but we don't have that significant a challenge over the next 3 to 4 years. But if you're asking me 4 years and beyond, would our challenges be roughly the same as what the rest of the industry faces? Probably yes. And that's when the innovation engine will continue to have to fire at a different level, a different speed. And maybe there would be more types of products like biosimilars that would enter our portfolio at that point in time.